How can you tell who someone really is before the damage is done? The charming answer is rarely the useful one. People can learn the language of empathy. They can hold eye contact, remember your story, and say the sentence that makes you feel unusually understood. In a first meeting, character has almost no time to speak. Performance does all the talking. By Friday, everyone at Lumen trusted Theo Grant. Everyone except the receptionist he never bothered to learn by name. Hi, I'm Sarah, and this is Wise Mind Stories. In this episode, you will learn why social masks are not automatically dishonest, which contradictions reveal the feelings beneath them, and why a person's repeated behavior under stress is more predictive than the most convincing first impression. Theo arrived without a jacket and with the sleeves of his white shirt folded exactly twice. Not casual, the appearance of casual. He had advised 3 companies through national launches. He had a quiet voice, an expensive watch, and the rare ability to make a crowded room feel as if it contained only the person he was speaking to. When Adrian introduced him as a possible growth advisor, Theo did not begin with his achievements. He turned to Lena. "I read the clinic notes," he said. "You were right about trust being different from comprehension. That distinction probably saved the product." Lena looked surprised. Then he turned to Maya. "And pausing without losing the whole launch takes political courage. Most product leaders would hide the signal." In 2 sentences, he gave each woman the version of herself she most wanted restored. Maya noticed the skill. She mistook noticing it for immunity to it. Robert Greene calls social life theatrical. We all play roles. We soften irritation at work. We display confidence while afraid. We become more patient with customers than with family. These masks are not always malicious. Civilization would be unbearable if every passing emotion demanded honest expression. The danger is moral innocence, the belief that appearances reveal motives simply because we prefer directness. People tell us who they would like to be seen as. Their bodies, patterns, and choices reveal the negotiation underneath. In the book's discussion of role-playing, Greene turns to psychiatrist and hypnotherapist Milton Erickson. As a young man, Erickson was severely affected by polio and spent long periods unable to move. Forced into stillness, he became intensely attentive to small movements, tone, and contradictions between words and bodies. Observation became a discipline. He learned that communication was occurring on a second channel beneath speech. The lesson is not that one gesture exposes a secret. Crossed arms can mean discomfort, cold air, habit, or nothing. A person who looks away may be lying, remembering, anxious, or simply tired. You look for clusters, changes, context. A face that smiles while the body becomes rigid. Warmth toward powerful people and impatience toward those who cannot confer status. An unusually animated certainty that seems designed to prevent questions. At lunch, Theo carried his own plate to the kitchen and asked the receptionist, whose name was Priya, whether there was a place for recycling. Except, he called her Nina. Priya corrected him. "Right," he said, already turning toward Adrian. "I knew it was musical." The smile remained. The attention had gone. Later, a junior analyst named Ben challenged one of Theo's revenue assumptions. Theo leaned forward. "That's a smart concern," he said. His words praised Ben. His mouth tightened before the smile. His next answer became faster, fuller, and strangely emphatic. He explained for 3 minutes why sophisticated growth models could not be read from a single spreadsheet. Ben apologized. Theo touched his shoulder. "Never apologize for asking." Everyone saw generosity. Lena saw that Ben did not ask another question. A mask is most revealing at the moment it has to work harder. Greene recommends observing how people behave across conditions, especially when they relax, feel pressure, or gain power. But the next law goes deeper. The law of compulsive behavior asks us to judge character not by reputation or isolated intentions, but by actions over time. Character, in Greene's account, is layered from temperament, early attachments, and accumulated habits. It does not make change impossible. It makes repetition likely. Someone can explain every failure persuasively and still be the common element in all of them. Strong character appears in adaptability, patience, accountability, the ability to learn, and behavior that remains coherent when circumstances deteriorate. Weak character often hides behind charm, moral language, dramatic promises, or a trail of enemies who are always described as unreasonable. Maya asked Theo why he had left his previous client before their launch. He sighed. Not theatrically enough to look theatrical. Founders sometimes want transformation until transformation threatens their control. What happened? I built the growth engine. Their legal chief panicked. Then, the founder protected the wrong person. No specifics. 3 villains. 1 misunderstood reformer. Maya heard confidence born from experience. Lena heard a pattern with missing evidence. Have you spoken to references from the implementation team? Lena asked Maya afterward. Adrian spoke to 2 CEOs. Theo doesn't work for CEOs. He works through everyone below them. Maya looked at Lena carefully. After their last conversation, she wanted to practice empathy. She also wanted to prove she was not defensive, so she listened. Then she made the same decision she had wanted before listening. Empathy without judgment can become another route to naivety. Maya recommended a 90-day contract. For his first initiative, Theo proposed an invitation-only demonstration for a hospital network. The meeting could restore momentum after the suspended clinic pilot. No slides, he said. Let the product feel alive. The team would use a synthetic family account. No private records, no real patient details. The night before the demonstration, Theo messaged Ben. The synthetic account looks empty. Switch to the internal test family. It has realistic history. Ben replied that the test account included notes copied from early research sessions. Names had been removed, but details could still be sensitive. Theo wrote, I hear you. Maya needs this meeting. Use judgment. The sentence transferred responsibility while applying pressure. Ben changed the account. During the demonstration, a hospital executive recognized the story of a rare medication error. She had heard it from a caregiver in a regional support group. The room changed. Theo smoothly advanced to the next feature. Afterward, he found Maya in the hall. Ben used the wrong environment, he said. I should have checked. It sounded like responsibility, but notice the construction. The cause belonged to Ben. The regret belonged to Theo. One carried consequence. The other carried virtue. The hospital network postponed negotiations pending a privacy review. Ben forwarded the message thread to Maya and offered to resign. Maya read Theo's words again. I hear you. Maya needs this meeting. Use judgment. The emotional reversal was painful. Maya had believed Theo's ability to see people made him empathetic. But he saw people accurately because accuracy made them easier to move. The skill was real. The motive was different. Being understood is not the same as being cared for. Maya searched public announcements from Theo's previous clients. At one, a compliance director had left after a launch dispute. At another, a product manager had taken blame for an unauthorized claim. Both companies praised Theo's strategic intensity. Neither CEO mentioned implementation. Maya called the former compliance director. There was a pause after she introduced herself. Has he already told you I was afraid of growth? The woman asked. Maya looked through the conference room glass. Theo was laughing with Adrian. His shoulders were loose. He placed a hand on Adrian's chair, as if the room already partly belonged to him. Something like that? Maya said. The former director described a familiar pattern. Theo created urgency, bypassed cautious people, framed resistance as weakness, and preserved ambiguity about who had authorized the final choice. Under success, he became generous. Under resistance, righteous. Under consequence, unavailable. This is why Greene tells us to look at behavior under stress and power. Anyone can appear patient when nothing important is being denied. Anyone can praise questions before a question changes the plan. Character becomes legible when the mask becomes expensive to maintain. Maya met Theo at 4. He expressed deep concern about Ben's judgment and offered to manage the privacy review personally. Did you tell him to use the internal test account? Maya asked. I told him to use judgment. After he explained the risk, Theo became very still. Maya, if you need to assign blame because the clinic loss has made you vulnerable, I understand. But this is not how serious companies build accountable teams. There it was. Empathy language. Weaponized. He had located her shame and placed his decision behind it. For a second, it almost worked. Then Maya remembered the 3 scenes. Theo with Adrian, Theo with Ben, Theo with consequence. She was no longer judging the sentence. She was judging the pattern. Your contract is suspended during the review, she said. Theo smiled with only his mouth. Adrian won't agree. Then Adrian and I will have a difficult conversation. Theo left the room without saying goodbye to Priya. Maya still had one more character to examine, her own. Ben had followed Theo's instruction, but Maya had created the environment in which the instruction carried her name as pressure. She could preserve her reputation by presenting Ben as careless and Theo as deceptive. Both descriptions contained truth. Neither described the leadership system. Maya asked Ben to walk through the decision with the privacy team. He expected discipline. Instead, Maya said, you raised the risk. Then a senior advisor used my urgency to override you. What would have made it possible to stop the demonstration? Ben asked for a written rule that any employee could halt a data-sensitive demo without needing executive approval. He also asked that the person requesting an exception own it in writing. Maya approved both. Then she documented her own failure. She had rewarded speed publicly, left authority ambiguous, and made the hospital meeting feel too important to interrupt. Greene's law is not only a method for screening other people. Our response to consequence reveals us too. Do we personalize criticism? Do we learn? Do we keep our word when the promise becomes expensive? Can we absorb an injury to status without transferring it downward? A person of strong character is not a person without flaws. It is a person whose structure permits correction. This is why reputation can mislead. Reputation summarizes what a social world has rewarded. Character appears in the inconvenient details that rarely enter a recommendation call. Before Ben left, he asked whether Theo would return. Not to your chain of command, Maya said. It was the first answer that made the cost belong to the person with power. The practice for today is the 3-scene character test. Before you place major trust in someone, a partner, hire, collaborator, or advisor, observe them in 3 conditions. First, a neutral scene, when charm is easy. Second, a stress scene, when plans are blocked or criticism arrives. Third, a power scene, especially how they treat someone who cannot reward or punish them. Do not diagnose from one gesture. Write down repeated behavior. Look for whether words and consequences belong to the same person. Trust should be a conclusion drawn from patterns, not a reward given to performance. I'm Sarah, and this is Wise Mind Stories. Subscribe if you want stories that help you read human nature without becoming cynical about it. The goal is not suspicion. It is accurate hope, the kind that knows what evidence trust requires. Maya has finally seen Theo's pattern. But she still has not asked why his performance was so irresistible to her. On Monday, a competitor will reveal a product Lumen does not have. It will look elegant, inevitable, and just out of reach. And Maya's desire to catch it may prove more dangerous than Theo's desire to control it.